George de Benneville was an 18th century mystic who inspired 20th century Universalists when they were going back to look at their history. So much of Universalist history has been about reformers or people who would debate or would confront the status quo, but de Benneville brought a mystical element to it. He was a French aristocrat born in London to refugee parents. George de Benneville was a mystic, and he had a preaching campaign following an experience of divine love, following both a near-death experience and an experience in his younger days when he saw a Muslim seagoer injured, and his Muslim compatriots showed him all this love. And so between this one experience of him sort of having a direct revelation of God, and on the other hand, seeing this Muslim seafarer being so devout and was praising God in the same way that he saw Christians praise, that he had a very different view of how God would respond to each of us. Unfortunately, it was a time of persecution, and so first he was persecuted his way out of France and then out of continental Europe and ended up in what's now the United States. He lived just outside of modern-day Philadelphia and had a preaching ministry, had an herbal ministry, and had very good relations with the local Native Americans. That plus his deeply mystical religion gave a very different flavor to what was possible for Universalists. And so when Universalists in the 20th century were looking for role models, they found him and were inspired by him. Not so much his theological inputs or the experience of his near-death experience, but just that there was a different way to approach Universalism that was comprehensive, that was integrated, that was ecstatic, that I think appealed to a lot of Universalists of his own day, of the mid-20th century, and today.